Hiking coach, good morning. Good morning, y'all. Keto Apocalypse, Brandon Johnson, good morning. Doing a little fasting today, boys. What do you guys think about that, huh? Breaking all the rules over here. Feeling good, too. I'm feeling better than I've felt in possibly months. Good morning, Raina. Patchy, are you worried about the toxins in your fats getting released into your organs? No, I'm really not. I'm not worried about that. I assume you mean because I'm fasting. Yeah, I'm not worried about any kind of negative effects from the fasting right now because I've been on the raw primal diet for about 18 months. I haven't even used like shampoo or body soap in like probably about 9 months. So, essentially, I think I'm pretty cleared out, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think I'm probably one of, if Augenis had, a group of people that he worked with, I'd probably one of the least toxic people that he worked with because I've been doing this for almost 2 years now. And so fasting now, I think, is just a tool to kind of clean out some extra stuff and heal some things that I weren't even aware. That's the crazy thing about fasting is it's healing stuff that I wasn't even aware was going on with me, like this hand pain. Like I was aware of it, but I was just ignoring the fact that I had this deep tissue bruise. Like it really hurts, man, for like 5 weeks, which is just like a ridiculous time period to have a bruise on your hand, right? But I put a lot of pressure on it when I was working on my car, so I realized that I strained the hell out of it, so it could take a while to heal, but it shouldn't take 5 weeks to heal. And I'm 2 days into this fast, and it's already almost completely gone. So it healed some kind of injury that I had in my hand, and it's also healed everything that's been detoxing out of my face the last 2 weeks. That's all completely resolved. I was talking about the dental injections here. The Novocaine injection I got last November was detoxing out of my cheek. You could feel it as in, it feels like a soft, kind of like a nodule under the skin. Exactly how Augenis said that Novocaine would come out of your cheek. It came out of my cheek. And within 2 days on this fast, it's completely gone. So that's just two things that I've been able to recognize that have resolved since I just stopped eating. And it's really controversial because basically I promote a lot of Augenis Thunder Planets on this channel. There's a lot of Augenis fans, and there's many, many, many people underneath what I believe is the false notion that fasting equals starvation. And if you read this book here, Fasting and Man's Correct Diet, which was written about 100 years ago, it will tell you exactly the difference between fasting and starvation. And the difference is there's a steep drop in body temperature during starvation, and that doesn't happen during fasting. Like you get chilly, getting chilly during fasting is normal, but that temperature drop doesn't happen. So, yeah, to answer your question, Patchy, that's a good question. I'm not worried about toxins dumping into my organs, just because I feel like I've probably eliminated. I feel like the majority of the worst toxins from my body, especially since I got this root canal tooth removed from my skull. That was probably the most toxic thing that I harbored in my entire system, was that essentially dead bone in my skull, creating anaerobic bacteria and leaking toxins from the inside of the tooth into my cheek, making my head swell up, making me go to the ER and stuff like that. That was the most toxic thing in my system, was that dead bone. Once I removed that last year, my health has just gone on a steady incline since I got that root canal tooth removed. So I tell everybody to avoid root canals. Don't ever get them done. If you are forced into working on a tooth, just extract it. Ultimately, you want to heal it through this diet, but if you feel like you can't heal it, then just extract it out of your skull. I've had, I can't even count how many teeth I've had pulled, guys, in my life. 4 when I got my braces done. I got 1 here, that's 5. 1 here, I'm sorry, 1 here is 5, 1 here is 6, 1 here is 7, or no, seven's up here. So I've had 7 teeth pulled in my life. I know a lot about dental work. So long answer there, but sorry, this fast has got me a little chatty too, guys. It's got my energy way up and my spirits up and everything. It's been great. Yo, AR, buenos dias. Little Viking coach, I thought you were going to yell, hey, fatty. That's funny. I laughed earlier when I read that. Yeah, I'm not quite snake diet yet, guys. But if you want me to call you a fatty, just ask, and I'll ask and you will receive. Keto Apocalypse, what made you decide to fast? I threw up, man. If you look at my last stream yesterday, I went into like total detail about it. But I just threw up, man. I was like nauseous one day. Yeah, I threw up. And I made this like strong connection between the last like 2 or 3 times this happened. It's happened on cycles about every 2 months. I just throw up, man. And so when I throw up, it kind of sends me into a natural state of wanting to fast because I lose my appetite. Like I don't even want like milk or eggs or anything like that. My body is like, don't eat. And so I started just thinking about it, man. And by the grace of God, I just happened to actually order this book and get it in the mail like the same day this happened. So it's called Fasting and Man's Correct Diet. And you probably saw that on my Instagram. So yeah, so it just kind of was like a culmination of a lot of things just kind of clicked at once for me. And I realized that every time before I throw up, every 2 months, my stools have been like smelling like extremely bad. Sorry if that's gross for people, but this is like really important. So I started noticing that my stools were smelling horrible before this happened. And also I'm having these kind of weird things manifest in my body, like this pain in my palm that wouldn't go away for 5 weeks after I started working on my car one day. And then these things detoxing out of my skin. I've been talking about all this stuff in my live streams. And so I just decided to fast like I did the last couple times this happened. And everything's been resolving on these fasts, man. And during my fast yesterday, I actually read this whole book. It's only like 160 pages, but I just blasted through this book, man. Got all the information out of this book. And it's undeniable, dude. Like the evidence that this book provides that fasting can cure, I would say, any disease caused by overeating can be cured by fasting. And this book has charts and charts and charts, pages and pages and pages of patients that went in for certain diseases, and it got resolved by just fasting. So it's pretty undeniable proof that just quitting eating is resolving these issues for these people. Now, the book was written 100 years ago, so this is really important. We may have been living in a different time period back then to where there wasn't as many toxins or chemicals in our environment, okay? So the majority of the patients, I'm just speculating here, trying to understand the difference between, excuse me, the difference between this guy's teachings and Augenis's teachings, and why Augenis didn't recommend fasting. This book came from 1921. Probably before the vaccines and the antibiotics got really, really bad and the chemicals in our environment and stuff, right? So these protocols, these fasting protocols, I think are essentially for people that have issues with overeating. And that's exactly what I'm dealing with right now, guys. You can see how much food I eat in all my meals. You can see how I eat it. I eat it in big chunks. I barely swallow it. I eat gigantic meals. It's not working out for me, so I'm going to completely change up my protocols here and try something entirely different. But yeah, so basically that's what made me fast, man. It was a culmination of my life experiences just kind of clicking. And I've also done a half a dozen fasts before in my life. I've gone from 3 days to 5 days to 7 days to 10 days. And every single time it did just miraculous repairs and work on my body. I got the best sleep I've ever got in my life. It seems like it's clearing all my skin up. Looks like my eye color is even changing. Like it does some crazy stuff for the body. So now, who's to say it's necessary if you don't overeat, right? But I believe that according to this book, man, that we're all overeating. And you would just be so amazed at some of the minuscule amounts of food that people are living on in this book and claim to have good health. It's really, really weird, man. So I'm open to the idea of fasting again, but I do agree still with Augenis in the sense that it's probably not ideal for our most toxic patients that we have, that he has, and it's probably not best for the most toxic people out there because, like my other mod, Brandon said, basically, I think it was the other one. I get you guys mixed up sometimes, sorry. But one of you guys said that basically fasting could potentially, in the most toxic people, let's say like someone has a gut issue from like way too many chemicals and drugs and blah, 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 that fasting could dump all of that stuff into the system too quickly and be really damaging to the cells and the DNA and the RNA and stuff like that. So I can see where Augenis picked up where this guy's work left off and started investigating more into chemicals and stuff like that. But it still doesn't erase this guy's work here, guys. It doesn't negate the hundreds of cases of fasting in here that were cured, all these weird diseases that were cured by fasting. So, Patchy, it's good. I'm glad you found someone that's helping you. As for me, my main mission is to get fat as possible. LOL, too skinny. Yeah, I've been kind of fluctuating between just getting fat, getting skinny, getting fat. It's really interesting, man. Like, I'm not 100% sure where I need to be. You know, it seems like it's almost natural to just fluctuate between gaining weight, shedding weight, gaining weight, shedding weight. So, you know, and it may, from the outside, that may look to somebody that's not really into health and nutrition, that may look like some sort of eating disorder, but I think it's really like probably a natural way to go. You know, it's interesting though that we're sort of in the middle of winter now, but we're going to be getting out of it here in the next month or two. And it's interesting that as I was progressing into winter, I was eating like a pig. And now that we're through the worst, we're just about through the worst of our winter here. It's going to start getting nice here in the next month or two. It's interesting that my body is starting to get me to want to fast to potentially shed some of that winter weight off, you know? Yo, AR, you're not hungry at the moment? I'm not hungry at the moment at all, man. So, yeah, it's interesting. When I first started fasting last year on this diet, I was barely into this diet, and I was like super hungry for the first 2-3 days and stuff. But I wasn't hungry yesterday, not hungry today. It's like, it's not even there, man. So I'm just I'm gonna push this for a while. Little Viking coach, now you will change every week like vegetable police. I know. Yeah, that's what I'm trying not to do here, guys, is I tried not to be the guy that jumps on a live stream or a YouTube channel and starts posturing myself as some nutritional authority of the world when I only have 18 months experience with the actual diet. But I do have like 15 years experience studying nutrition, and I've read a lot of books on this stuff. I think probably more so than a lot of these YouTubers. I don't even think they're reading the books. So they're just like regurgitating other people's research. But I'm actually reading the books, guys, and doing the experiments on my own body. So, but yeah, I'm a bit disappointed that I would like to do a public apology to Vic Songwriter. I think I jumped the gun on banning him because he was kind of saying some things that Augenis was not right about certain things. And I should have given him a chance to explain himself a little bit better before I banned him. So I'll probably do that from now on with people. That was kind of like an asshole thing to do, just to ban somebody for saying Augenis was wrong about things, you know. So I unbanned Vic Songwriter. If he wants to come back, you're more than welcome, man. Runt, I just fasted all yesterday and I feel better today. There's this aspect in Indian culture where they fast a full day once a week. I've heard of that, yeah. Sunday sounds like a great day to fast. Meat. What type of fats should we eat? Specifics. Cheese. Yeah, cheese, raw butter, raw milk. It's got cream in it. And just eat like beef fat with your beef. You know, eat like a chuck roast or something that's got like fat attached to it, you know. Poppy John, do you think eggs are a great multivitamin compared to organ meats? Yes. Yeah, I think eggs are probably superior for sure. Eggs are just untouchable nutrition-wise, man. Like I have had so many good experiences with eggs that they are one of my favorites, and I can see why Augenus elevated them above almost all the other foods. Eat raw meat. I join, and the first thing I hear is my stool smells horrible. Good morning. Welcome to the party. Little Viking coach, the only thing Jesus, Buddha, and the Prophet Muhammad agree on is fasting. Dude, it's powerful, guys. It's powerful. Why do you think they put this stuff in the Bible, man? Why do you think they put it in the Bible, dude? It's really, really blowing my mind, this fasting thing. Because just because, like you said, these guys, they've been talking about it for so long. Patchy, every time I used to fast on the standard American diet, I had cold sweats and was extremely lightheaded. Yeah, I bet you were like detoxing some horrible shit out of your body. Yeah, fasting on the standard diet sounds like a total nightmare. And I can see why people, when I tell people I'm fasting, it's like I'm speaking a different language. They're like, you're what? You're just not eating? I'm like, yeah. Like, don't you feel like shit? And I'm like, never felt better in my life. Ketopocalypse, I absolutely agree with the healing effects of fasting. Right on, man. H the Human, hey everyone. Good morning. Little Viking coach, autophagy, yeah. You robbed me. I think I will go on a milk-only fast soon for 1 to 2 weeks. That's something that I've been wanting to do for a long time, man. But, need to get some access to more milk. But just going on a straight milk fast, that sounds like good times. But honestly, man, just fast, dude. Like if you feel like fasting, because that's really the way to go. That way you can get your digestion a complete break. Because there's really some benefit to just stopping eating totally for a couple days. Patchy, your stool will never not smell. The best it can smell like is neck and newborn's poop. Yeah, guys, our shit isn't supposed to stink, dude. This book goes all into that too. It's really interesting. You're not supposed to have smelly shits, man. It's like all this stuff is like brand new information to me. H the Human. I watched The Man from Earth last night, one of the best movies I've seen. I watched that yesterday too, man. That was like super interesting. I kind of got a little bit lost in the middle just because sometimes I get lost during dialogue and I kind of spaced out a little bit. And then I started paying attention again and I was like, I don't want to ruin the ending, but I started paying attention at the end and I was like, holy shit, this is taking like a very, very interesting turn. So yeah, The Man from Earth is a really good movie, man. It gets a little long in the middle, but then towards the end they start to pick it up again. So yeah, good recommendation. Eat raw meat. Martin O'Donnell, I did a 2-day dry fast, but I didn't get any benefits. Just lost some water weight. Maybe I'm a little young, 19. Fasting is for overweight older people. Maybe. Possibly. Yeah, I mean, you might see more benefits being in your 30s because we've just been overeating for like, 20 more years than you. So we probably have a lot more like build up inside of us that is getting discarded and stuff like that. So we're going to feel a little more benefits. But I also, man, I have heard that going 3 days is like the magic number. A lot of people see benefits right around 3 days, so you might not have pushed it long enough. But also, yeah, you could just be young and you're in good shape anyways, so it really doesn't change your overall health. Jeremy R, I'm fasted, wasn't too hungry last night, so I skipped. Will eat later if I'm hungry for longer than 10 minutes. Lost over 5 pounds of fat seems in 1 day. Feel good, not hungry yet. I cheat with a little butter. Interesting. Yeah, it seems like I'm losing. You should lose, in my experience, I've done a lot of fasts. You should lose about 1 pound a day. But if you were harboring like a lot of like water weight and stuff like that, then I could see how you'd probably lose maybe 5 pounds in 1 day like that. Eat raw meat. Autogenous when your planet's fluctuated too. That's what it seems like, man. It really seems like natural to not be at the exact weight all the time. Little Viking coach, I'm on a fat fast. Just ate half a stick of raw butter. Keep the insulin and cortisol low. Normal fasting raises cortisol. It really doesn't though, man. Like, it might at first, like maybe the first day or something like that, but after um, like 2 or 3 days, your hunger goes away, and I find that my cortisol doesn't feel elevated at all. I, in fact, feel the opposite. I feel like it's dissolved all my anxieties. It's lifted up my spirits, and it's increased my energies. And it's just really honestly like taken, instead of giving me anxiety or cortisol or adrenaline or whatever you want to call it, it feels like it's done the opposite. It's actually just chilling me out and all that stuff. Yo, AR, growing up, we didn't have a lot of meat. Once my father got a better job, we started eating more meat. We ate twice the portions of meat my father grew up on, extravagant compared to grandparents. Abdallah Roslan, if I'm over 14% body fat, I never feel hungry. I guess my body naturally likes to be lean. That's what I think that sort of coincides with what I'm experiencing, I think, here, man. Because I haven't been hungry in a long time. So maybe I am supposed to be lean, you know? Like I've had periods in my life where I was like really like just kind of stocky and muscular and stuff like that from lifting a lot of weights and things like that. So I'm kind of used to that. Like who doesn't want to be like big and muscular, you know? So it's like I have to kind of let go of that idea of that like aesthetic appeal that everybody's somewhat, that a lot of us are striving for. You know, we're trying to like appeal to your ego. We're trying to look good. We're trying to look attractive or whatever. And it's like, you know, maybe being really, really big and muscular isn't actually attractive. And maybe what's attractive is not having out of proportion muscles from lifting weights and being lean, you know? So I'm trying to get a balance here, but I think, yeah, like 15% body fat, that sounds like a good thing to aim for, and just kind of start from there. Jeremy R. Says Cole Robinson is all about fasting, curing all kinds of things. Yeah, I know. He was the one that got me into fasting. In my opinion, best to do short fasts and then refeed nutrient dense to avoid any gain loss with deficiency. I typically do 1 to 2 day fasts. Yeah, I like 3. I like to go 3, but the issue is because I can easily go 3. It seems like, so when I hit 3 though, it's like 3 makes me want to go 5, and then when I go 5, it makes me want to go 7. Then I end up just going 10 days. It's pretty crazy, man. So there's a very good chance, guys, I'm going to be fasting for like 10 days. We'll see. Maven Taylor, do you think the smelly poop can be food fermenting due to overeating? Absolutely. That's exactly what it is. Patchy, like 9 inches in height in one summer. Maybe the stored nutrients in the bat are used to grow bones. Maybe. Eat raw meat. I'll send you a video about eating from the Smiling Conspiracy Guy. He says the same thing and something I didn't know till now. Really? You like that channel, don't you, man? You've looked more into that channel than I have. Like, that Smiling Conspiracy video just blew my mind. I'm glad it blew yours too, man. Because, I'm telling you, God sends some of his best messages through the strangest messengers, man. And the Smiling Conspiracy Guy that I linked the other day is one of those guys, for sure. He said that when you overeat and don't use your glycogen, you get problems. So he recommended 1 meal a day with doing physical work and eating the meal at night or evening. Yeah, guys, I think I might switch to 1 meal a day again. What do you guys think about that? I mean, it sounds like that's where what my body wants me to do. The issues I was having before with eating 1 meal a day that I had complained about was that I was having an issue eating all of the food that I put on my plate. I think I was getting a little ridiculous. Like I was trying to eat like 2.5 pounds, 3 pounds of red meat in one sitting and stuff like that, with like 5 eggs, with butter. You know what I mean? It was a little ridiculous. So that's what kept me from doing 1 meal a day, was that I was having these issues with just pounding down all that red meat and stuff like that. So I'm hoping that my body is a little bit more adapted now, and I can get back into the 1 meal a day routine. But at night though, I guess that sounds okay. I just figured that eating in the middle of the day would be better, because by the time you go to sleep, you've had it digested for like 8 hours. But I guess, is there anybody out there that eats 1 meal a day just at the evening? Do you guys notice any problems sleeping or anything like that compared to eating in the middle of the day? Maven Taylor, have you visited San Diego? No, I've been to San Francisco. when I was flying to Hawaii to meet my mom. Eat raw meat. So fasting isn't necessary, I think. But when you eat, you need to work off that glycogen. Um, yes. Yeah, I don't think fasting is necessary really unless you overeat or you have some kind of like um, fermenting food in your system. You have an undiagnosed condition that isn't healing correctly, etc., etc. So fasting can be really useful for that. But and it's also a good thing to elevate your spirits too. It's like, guys, you got to forget we're not just physical beings. We're actually, I believe, we're spirits. So you got to do stuff for your spirit sometimes too. You know what I mean? And that includes just not eating for a while. I think there's really something to that. Martin O'Donnell, is the smell from old fermented indigested matter? Yes, it's the combination, I believe, of the food decaying with the bacteria that gets produced from that. Yo, AR, local indigenous fast for 3 to 4 days for spiritual understanding. Totally. Yeah, that's exactly what these fasts do, is they get you more in tune with just everything in life. Samuel, are you just water fasting or drinking a couple glasses of raw milk? Yeah, just water. Froya, happy Saturday. Hey, happy Saturday to you. Eat raw meat. Do you know if the Honda CRV 2001 2006 is a good car? Because I won't get a Jeep anymore. The Antifa and leftists here love to destroy those cars. No shit, that's crazy. Yeah, Hondas are universally like just bulletproof vehicles, man. So I don't know specifically about that CRV, but I've seen a lot of them on the road. In fact, I think my neighbor's got one across the street, and it looks to be about that age, and it's still running great. So I had a Honda Civic that was like a 1999, and it was like bulletproof. I've had three Hondas and a Acura, so I know a lot about Hondas and stuff. Very, very reliable vehicles. Agnology, you want to get lean even though you feel better being overweight. Right, I know it sounds like I contradict myself. So I have said that I felt better like having more body fat on me, and it's true. I do feel better. It's weird in certain ways, right? I think honestly what's going on here is that it is like being overweight is satisfying something like psychologically in me, but it's not satisfying me physically or physiologically, in the sense that I'm getting relief from just general anxiety or depression in life by just eating, by like comfort food. I honestly think that's why I think I feel better when I'm overweight. Or when I feel better being like heavier, let's put it that way. Because I now understand like what it's like to feel optimally physically, because now that I've jumped into this fast, I'm like, okay, now I'm starting to feel better physically than I ever could imagine. So, but it is a bit more stressful in the mind, not having food every day all day. Like it's not stimulating. So I think what's going on is I'm stimulating myself. I just have an issue in life, which is feeling constantly understimulated. I'm sure that a lot of people can relate to that. And so I just have a hard time finding things that stimulate me that aren't really bad for me, like drugs and alcohol and things like that. So I was using food to stimulate my mind. And so, yeah, I think I know the difference now. And basically, I think I just need to become more accustomed to not being so stimulated all the time, because I think we're being brainwashed into thinking that we should be just stimulated all the time and constantly laughing and smiling and socializing and watching TV and looking at our phones and all this shit. And it's like, if you get away from that, then I think that you could probably integrate like a 1 meal a day plan into your life and not feel so like understimulated because you're not eating all day. Froya, I fast only at days after I eat something like a cake or something like that. Sounds like a good idea. Jeremy R, it's addicting. You're running on pure saturated fat when you're fasting to a point. Yeah, it is a slightly addicting there. Patchy, for some reason YouTube didn't send the question, does the body use fats to grow in height? Fat little kids seem to grow over the summer in their spurts and end up being very tall and skinny. I think that is the sun. I think it's the sun, dude. I honestly think the sun helps you grow, helps you heal. Eat raw meat. Yes, I like this dude. I watched many videos from him. Oh, guys, I just thought of this real quick. This is just like a random, really interesting part of information I got from this book. They noticed that when they did studies on people that they basically starved a bunch of people. Well, they were starving because they had completely destroyed stomachs and they couldn't do anything for them. So essentially, these doctors just did studies on people that were starving to death, and they measured all of their temperatures and blah 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 and all this stuff. Here's what's really really fascinating, guys. They noticed that what actually killed these people was cold. It was a temperature drop. It wasn't actually starvation. So the first thing to kill these people was cold before the starvation hit in, right? Because they had people that were starving in warm environments and they lived longer than the people that were starving in the cold environments. So they basically proved through these studies that essentially what is affecting your length of life, especially when you're fasting, is temperature. Like temperature has like the biggest factor on like your length of life, according to this book, according to these studies they did on actual starving people. And this coincides with why a lot of people like in tropical environments, or like these vegans that move to like these tropical environments, they're able to survive basically on a starvation diet because they're living in a warm environment. That's why people can't, let's say that live in my environment here in the Midwest, why they can't go on these like vegan diets, because the cold is killing them. So if you guys read this book, man, it's gonna blow your mind in like multiple ways. But that's one way that it seriously just like had me really rethinking what actual starvation is, because they just nailed it down to essentially what kills you before you starve is a temperature drop. It's just really interesting, man. So basically, if you don't have a drop in temperature in your environment, then basically you will live like much, much longer. Froya, OMAD is not bad at all. Do what your body tells you to do and how it makes you feel. I agree. The difference is my body fights my mind. I'm sure you guys can relate to this. You gotta just, I don't know. It's gotta be. You gotta realize. You gotta figure out what motivates you to do what you're doing. You know what I mean? And I really doubt myself sometimes when it comes to my mind and what it points me to do. Patch, I used to have a Honda CRV 2005. Was it good? KV, yo, what's up, guys? Good morning. For you, I feel great, not eating much at all. My stop eating is at 6 p.m. at night. Yeah, I've known, in my life, I've known many girls and women that could do that. I knew girls that would fast for 2 days, something like that. And I would be like, how the hell do you do that? You know what I'm saying? Because I could never, ever do that. I always felt like I was dying. So it's interesting. It seems like women are a little bit more in tune to fasting. Patchy, I got a 2005 C350 Benz now. It was good on gas. 2008, way better than my Mercedes with money management, right? Yeah, Mercedes can get a little pricey on like repairs and stuff. Abdallah Razlan, I have to force feed myself to maintain 15% body fat. I think it's unnatural to make your body hold on to fat and muscles than you can handle. It is. Patchy, it's also nice having a big car. You feel safer. Yeah, and being higher up on the road is the way to go. Eat raw meat. Yes, fasting is, like we said, a hack. A good one when you need it to heal something or you just don't have any food. Yeah, it sounds about right. I think, and I got to add on top of that for spiritual practice, which honestly, guys, like spiritual practice should be more important than dietary practice. I mean, I believe we are spirits, and this body is just like almost like an illusion in a sense. So, one lasts forever, one doesn't. You know what I'm saying? But that doesn't mean we shouldn't take care of the one that doesn't last forever. But still, think about the one that lasts forever. Your spirit. I believe our spirits are infinite. So don't forget about that guy too, you know. KV, I sleep better on OMAD. I eat my one meal a day at like 9, 10 p.m. and I go to bed with a nice full stomach. Interesting. I've been sleeping really good on this fast, man. CRVs are super reliable. Yeah, I think so. I've seen tons of CRVs on the road that are just like still going. Froya, Toyota rule the world. Toyotas are, yeah, those are bulletproof. Toyotas are the only car that I would say. I used to work with cars quite a bit. I used to work with mechanics and I used to work at body shops and stuff. And I've even been like the manager of a transmission shop before. So I know quite a bit about cars. Toyota is about the only more reliable car that I could say than a Honda. You raw meat. CRV even has a removable camping table in the back. Fun gimmick. Oh, does it? It's funny. The human Hondas are super reliable but expensive on parts. Yeah, this shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. Yeah, it's probably shipping. But the thing about yeah, it's probably because you're in Scotland. But yeah, Honda's actually, if you buy like a used one, like a 2005 or something like that, you can get parts for unbelievably cheap. Guys, Solace, I've been putting on one raw egg in my hair when I shower. It's so much better than conditioner or shampoo. It leaves my hair soft and textured. Right on. I haven't had the urge to wash my hair at all. It's like, I don't know. You raw meat, fuck bulletproof coffee. I get a bulletproof Honda. I used to drink that coffee, man. Yeah, exactly. Jeremy R., I believe I get the benefits of fasting in one day instead of 3 because I'm already fat adapted with drained glycogen. Yeah, possibly, yeah. Yeah, I would say if you're not harboring any kind of weird, uh, unhealable condition, you know, then if you want to fast a day and not go 3, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? But everybody's a little different, you know. And like I said, I had this rotting bone root canal inside my body for 15 years that was like leaching chemicals and anaerobic bacteria and all sorts of shit into my system. I believe it was truly killing me, man. And so I think that so I got this tooth removed, and I noticed that it kind of didn't really like it. Seems like it healed, but sometimes my gums were irritated and stuff. So it feels like on this fast, it feels like it's possibly potentially finally kind of healing up a lot of the damage from my root canal. And also, like 10 years ago, I had that traumatic facial injury where I just had like a drop seizure and I fell down and shattered my whole face. I cracked my chin in half, broke my jaw here, and I chipped 12 of my teeth in half. And they wired my jaw shut for 6 weeks. And my jaw never healed back correctly until I got on this diet, man. So that's something that I've really never talked about on this channel before, is that I feel like this diet is healing my broken jaw from 10 years ago. It's very, very interesting. So like I had limited movement of my jaw for a long time. I couldn't even fit 2 fingers between my teeth for a moment. So I had like really limited mobility up and down, left and right. I still do. I still have a crossbite and limited mobility, but it's like slowly, it seems like it's slowly like repairing itself. And also, since I broke my jaw, I would have these like weird spasms on the side of my head right here. I don't know if anybody's ever had this issue, and that's what was freaking me out about MS and stuff like that, because it seemed like it was almost like MS related. But I'm getting like these weird spasms in my head and stuff. And it just happens to be really close to where my jaw was broken. So I'm wondering if I had some nerve damage. And also my chin is numb from where I cracked my jaw. So I believe that, and I even had I went to a dentist and talked to him about my jaw, my limited mobility. And he said specifically, I don't like the way you heal. And I had a problem with that statement for years. I thought he was bullshitting me because I thought the doctors messed up my jaw. I thought the doctors rewired my jaw wrong. And I thought the dentist was just making up for the doctors by saying, I don't like the way you heal, instead of saying, I don't like the way the doctors wired your jaw shut. So it took me, honestly, guys, until like this year to realize that he was 100% correct. I didn't heal right because I wasn't eating the right foods. When I had my jaw wired shut, I was drinking Ensures, like those old people drinks. I was drinking Ensure and Slim Fast for 6 weeks. Those were my nutrients. That's all I knew how to get nutrients into my body at that time. So yeah, that shit really messed up my body. And so that's why I've been going on these fasts, because I really think that what they're doing is they're giving my digestion a complete break and giving my body a chance to heal these like ancient injuries that I have in my body, you know? Jeremy R, totally the sun, you have to have vitamin D to build bone. Timothy McNamara, what kind of eggs do you like to eat? Chickens, ducks, or quail? I have enjoyed ducks, never had quail, but I usually just eat chicken eggs. Pretty normal. Martin O'Donnell, vegans can't handle the cold because they don't eat any real fat and have low iron. Right. And they're also on that starvation diet. So it's really like they're contributing to actual starvation by getting in the cold like that. Starving little rats, right? You're right. I mean, I always ask myself how the animals in the wild live. I mean, yes, they have fur, but they sleep on the cold ground with wind and rain. Right? So do homeless people. Jeremy R. Apache, you get full fat mascarpone cheese or similar in some raw honey. Eat a lot every night. It's guaranteed to put on weight. Totally. Yeah, milk and honey is another good one too. Slam a big old glass of milk and honey at night. It'll put you to sleep too. You're rubbing Angela Merkel, German Chancellor, misspoke on a Brazil conference about CO2. She said they want to get rid of free travel till 2040, so only self-driving cars are allowed then. Wow. They're so crazy, dude. The older you get, the more you realize how insane having an actual government is. You know what I'm saying? And especially to us, it seems weird because we're all like already aware of just how living a semi-normal life or a semi-abnormal life is really bad for you. So having a government making rules for you and telling you what you can do is so weird. It'd be so much better if we just broke everything up into small little like communities, you know, and they just govern themselves. I mean, I once got sucker punched from the side. Since then, my jaw felt kind of weird, but I have no problems or pain. But when I started primal and fasting, that feeling is gone. It feels good now, not before. I know, yeah. That's kind of what I'm going through. Haha, Slim Fast. What a scam that was. Yeah. Slim Fast. I'm scared to look at what kind of stuff I was drinking. I've got that, guys. I've got, when I broke my jaw, I might upload that for you guys someday. But I have all of that on camera when not when I actually broke my jaw, but the whole month when I had my jaw wired shut, I went into the bathroom every single day with my camera. It was actually like an old school camcorder because it was like a while back. It was right around when like smartphones were coming out. It was a while ago. And I videotaped myself losing 25 pounds in 1 month. But you see me with my jaw wired shut. You see this, like, I have this big scab on my lip from where my face hit the concrete. Maybe someday I'll upload that to my YouTube channel so you guys can kind of see one of the major just accidents in my life that contributed to my health decline. Because what happened after that jaw injury, guys, is that I chipped a bunch of my teeth in half and I never fixed them. Isn't that crazy? Like I literally chipped my teeth in half and I just went like 4 years without fixing them. Isn't that crazy? Otis 8, different doggo today. Oh yeah, she is over there. Jeremy R. had TMJ of the jaw joints and it healed completely just going carnivore part primal. I could barely chew before. It's amazing. Right on. That's cool. That's coinciding with exactly what I got going on right now. Yeah, it seems like that's the way. Raw primal is the way to heal bones, heal injuries and stuff. Otis 8, still adorable doggo. Which dog is more chunky? The female, she's slightly more chunky because she got fixed. So she puts on a little bit more weight, easier than my other guy. He's still got his nuts, so he stays pretty lean. Well, I wouldn't say pretty lean. He stays leaner than she does, more lean. That's why he's such a savage, because I never fixed him. But I couldn't fix my dog, man. I couldn't do it, and I didn't want to fix her either, but I had to because I didn't want them to have like retarded puppies or something from like siblings. You know what I'm saying? Freya, I want to land with 6 black and white cows, 3 brown cows, 6 goats, 6 sheep, chickens, ducks, rabbits, and dogs. All babies, of course. I want them to grow with me. Oh yeah, that'd be perfect. Yep. Don't forget cats. You need cats to kill the rats. Maybe some alpacas. Or you could probably make fur out of the sheep too. But yeah, you need something to make like blankets and coats and stuff. I guess sheep could do that for sure. Eat raw meat sounds good. Never cut the balls off. Sounds a little bit brutal. It sounds slightly unnatural, a little bit. So yeah, isn't that crazy that I probably deleted all my videos for no reason? I can't believe I fell for that scam. But I'm just so paranoid, man, of all of the censorship and shit that YouTube is doing nowadays that I fell for an email scam. You know what I'm saying? And it didn't make sense that they wouldn't strike my channel individually, you know? And it also doesn't make sense that they're continuing to monetize me even though I'm getting all these weird spoof emails. So that was a red flag. But they messed up yesterday when they sent me the fake one, whoever sent them, when they sent me that email that was like garofagolo838088 at gmail.com, like trying to pose as YouTube. So that was kind of a big red flag, and that's what made me question it. And then I also looked at my videos, and I was like, what videos are they talking about? Like, I just removed like 30 of them. So no big deal. Like, I don't think a whole lot of people are going through and like watching all of my old live streams. I think really the idea here is just to keep producing live streams as I go and start to sharpen up my message a little bit at least, and kind of like learn more as I go here, you know, because there's honestly things in those live streams that I said that I don't agree with anymore. So it's like I almost don't want them on my channel here, you know, because it's like I told people fasting was stupid and starvation and all this stuff, and it's like I'm a little bit embarrassed that I didn't understand that at the time. So, but I think, you know, I feel comfortable now just kind of with the information that I have about nutrition and health. So, guys, I ordered 10 books yesterday. I got 10 books on nutrition coming, like just some really good ones, some books that I pulled out of this book. And then also I'm reading Nutrition and Physical Degeneration right now by Weston Price. I've had it for like 6 months, just haven't read it yet. But that's like I mean, obviously that's like one of the best books of all time, but it's turned out to be really good so far. Freya, haha, yes, cute little cats too, for sure. Yeah, outdoor cats are so happy when they get to hunt little birds and rats and stuff. They're the happiest cats ever, man. Eat raw meat, get a mountain lion. That sounds like a good idea. I like European cats. Oh, mountain lions are beautiful. I want a wolf too, though. That would be sweet. Eat raw meat, the email is fake. Yeah, pretty sure the emails were all fake, man. Because it came from like a fake, the domain wasn't authenticated. And I don't really understand that domain authentication stuff. Like, I think because I'm so used to getting like spam emails, I'm just like, whatever, it didn't authenticate, who cares? But I didn't realize at the time. And I didn't make the connection between, like, they would send me a link. They would say, like, click on this link to see which videos we're talking about. And I would click on the link and it would send me to like an infinite loop of like a Google symbol, just looping, looping, looping. So it looked legit. It looked like it was almost like a connection issue or something. But all they were trying to do was to get your password, because it's like it was a page to type in your password and then it sends you to an infinite loop. So it's like, I figured it out, man. I figured it out. I was getting scammed. You know what would have been really interesting is if it was some vegans that sent me that to try to get me to delete my channel. Kai Salas, would be interesting to see a study on how someone gains strength or muscle on raw primal versus standard diet with protein shakes. I'm guessing raw primal would act like natural steroids, reduce recovery time. Yeah, you would need like two brothers, like 1 or 2 years apart, with like pretty similar genetics and builds, to do like an experiment like that. Eat raw meat. The leftists here in Germany want to outlaw cat ownership because they say they kill all the birds. And wow, are they really freaking out about that? And I think dog ownership also. Man, what are they doing to Germany, dude? Is that all because of is this all happening because of like the war? Because of all the Nazis and shit? Are they just like, because I was like listening to some of that German music that you sent me, and I was reading some of the comments down below and stuff like that, and it was like, they're actually like banning that music just because it was from the time period of when the Nazi war went down. So it's like, it's really weird, man. Are they trying to like erase your guys' culture or something? Like, that's insane. It's like they're trying to like emasculate Germany or something, you know? Because like Germans are like some of the most masculine people on the planet. It's unbelievable, man. Nemo, what is the cause of dry lips in the carnivore diet? Yeah, most likely low fat. You're not eating enough fat. Or dehydration. Yeah, try more butter, try more eggs, and cheese. Eat raw meat. Sounds like a vegan thing with the emails. Yeah, I think it's, I was thinking it's either a vegan trolling or it's probably someone fishing for passwords. But they already got my password like a month ago, so I don't understand why they didn't just hack my account. Yes, we got totally enslaved. Yes, they banned those songs. You don't know the half of it. Look up Hutan Plan. Okay. You got some good recommendations, dude. I'll write that one down. Yeah, it's weird, dude. Like, so eat raw meat. This is interesting. Like, it's weird. Like, my family is, it's like almost like the world wants you to be ashamed to be German because of like the Nazis. You know what I'm saying? And I think we all know you can't believe anything the media tells you, right? And I'm not like a Holocaust denier or anything like that, but I'm very, very, very suspicious about everything that we've been taught about that war. Very, very suspicious, man. And especially because they want you to basically, this is a complicated conversation, but I have a lot of German in my family, man. Let's put it that way, right? And we all came over here to America. And here's the thing, dude. It's like, no one in my family talks about our German heritage. No one talks about it, man. It's like we're not even German. Yet I take a genetic test and I'm like 50 to 60, 70% German and French. So it's like we have major, major German genetics coming into my family. Yet nobody talks about our culture. Nobody talks about what part of Germany we came from, what we used to do, et cetera, what kind of traditions we used to have. We just came over here, completely forgot our German culture and started adopting the American culture. So, my family is like, it seems like my family, a lot of people in my family are like ashamed of things. Like ashamed almost to like be fully themselves, you know? Because, you know, Germans are very strong, intelligent people, you know? And a lot of times like fearless as well. Like we, you know, there's a lot of like very, very good traits that come along with having that ancestry. And I just see people in my family almost being in denial of all of that. And so I'm just wondering if that's all because of media brainwashing, because of the Nazi war. Yo, AR, see if the Hodge twins would try the raw primal versus sad shake experiment. There you go. That's a good thought. Eat raw meat or Morgenthau plan. Okay. Morgenthau. Nemo, I eat lots of fats. Could it be an electrolyte imbalance? You could be dehydrated. What are you drinking for fluids? Are you drinking milk? Are you drinking water? I assume you're eating raw too. Kai Salas, definitely makes sense that humans bond with small carnivores like dogs and cats. Since we are naturally meat eaters, trying to bond with bigger ones like wolves and mountain lions may not be a good idea. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and dogs and cats, they help you hunt, you know? You've never seen a dog hunt, guys, until you've fasted your dog for 2 to 3 days. You've never seen you've never seen the natural behavior of a canine until you've fasted it for 2 to 3 days. It's unbelievable, dude. Eat raw meat. All Germans got brainwashed to have self-hatred all their lives and feel guilty. Holy shit, is that what's going on with my family? Dang, dude. I really think that's what's going on with a lot of my family, because it's like a lot of people in my family are just like just guilty people, man. And it's almost like the guilt is what creates the bad behavior, and it's not the other way around. It's almost like they just inherited this guilt, man, guilt. And then it compounds, you know. There's people in my family that have made just crazy decisions, and then they feel guilty about those decisions, and it's like, is the reason that you made that poor decision because you were walking around just in guilt and doubt and shame, you know? Unbelievable, man. And you notice that, like, when I tell people I'm German and stuff in America, you know, it's like, yeah, I'm German, you know what I mean? It's not like, oh, sweet, you know what I mean? It's like the first thing people think of is Nazis. It's so strange, dude. I really understand why people start doubting the Holocaust and doubting that whole narrative now, because just because of how shitty they want German people to feel for no reason. Eat raw meat. The leftists hate Germans for sure. That's why I love saying it as much as I can on live stream. How German I am. I'm German as hell. Dash cams. I mean, what city? The air could be dry. It is winter right now. Dry lips aren't necessarily a concern. KV, they do. Same thing happens here in America with white males and slavery. They expect us to be some kind of emasculated apologists. Absolutely. Eat raw meat, we get suppressed. This is real stuff, guys. This is real stuff going on here, but people don't want to believe it. People don't want to believe that, like, white males are being oppressed, and white Christian males that are straight are some of the most hated people in the world. Jeremy R. Cooking meat is bad all around. The loss of liquid alone. Yeah, that's the big part of it. And the loss of all the salts and minerals, man. Maven Taylor, the new weapon today is guilt. Yes, it is. Now I know why I've been so resistant to people that want to make me feel guilty about shit in my life. You know what I mean? And there's certain things in my life that I should have felt guilty about that I didn't feel guilty about for many years, which was wrong. But it was because they programmed me to become resistant to them manipulating my emotions. And so that's the problems you run into when you make people feel guilty for stuff they shouldn't feel guilty for. Then they'll never feel guilty about anything. Eat raw meat. There's so much stuff people don't know about World War II and Hitler, and if you say anything against the historical narrative, you can go to jail for saying some stuff here. That's unbelievable. Yeah, I remember I read that one time, and that's what really, really made me started wondering what the world was doing to Germany when they started making laws that you can't even speak out against the historical narrative. Dude, unbelievable. Nemo, I can't get past the cold raw meat. I cook it because I want it to be warm. Let it get to room temp, man. Dash cams. Oh wait, eat raw meat. KV, yes, it's a war against the white race. No, it's not a war against the white race. We're not in a battle of flesh and blood. It's a spiritual battle. It's a war against good. And white people are good people. That's why they want white people down. Dash cams. What do you think about fermenting raw milk in plastic bottles? It's literally impossible for me to do it in glass because I drink so much milk and I like it to always be fermented. I would not do it in plastic, dude. I mean, I would use a plastic lid, but you're going to leach plastic residues into there. Like, so you're not getting a perfect thing. If it's all you have, you got to do what you got to do, man. It's probably better than not drinking any fermented milk at all. But it's not a good idea because that's like a chemical reaction there, and you might get some bad stuff leached in there. How come you can't do it in glass? Just buy like a small mason jar. Maven Taylor, kids are taught in school they are evil colonizers. Freya, because people were taught wrong world history. The history was taught the way they want you to know. Right, the winners made the history books. Exactly. Oh, guys, I heard a great quote from this book yesterday. Let's see if I can remember it. Just a sec. See if I can remember it. All right, so I think it went like this. Here's the quote. When a dentist makes a mistake, he pulls it. When a doctor makes a mistake, he buries it. When a judge makes a mistake, it becomes law. I thought that was really interesting quote. What's up, big guy? My dogs are fasting today too, guys. When I fast, my dogs fast. I'm already noticing that their energy's going up. And they seem to get a little bit better, a keener sense of smell too. They're like starting to sniff stuff. But when I fast my dogs, it just brings their spirits up, their energy and everything, man. I noticed that they were getting a little bit chunky too. So it's like everything that I go through on this diet, like my dogs go through too, because we're like basically on the same diet. So I've been overfeeding my dogs, I think. What? You're getting no food today, buddy. You got to make it at least to day 3. You'll be good. My dogs will be fine. You can't research or say anything against this narrative. So many people are in jail for this. Wow. But we can do it over here, but you can't do it over there. That is unbelievable, dude. Eat raw meat and documentaries like The Greatest Story Never Told are banned in Germany. Really? Yeah, I watched like half of that, dude. Yeah. Yeah, that was one of the first documentaries that got me into the whole red pill and the Holocaust. Like, okay, what really happened here, guys? What is really going on here? And then you look at all the books that have been written about Jews over the last like 600 years, and it's like, who's the real enemy here? What's going on? But again, I still don't think, I think Hitler was an idiot, a total idiot. I mean, not a total idiot, obviously an intelligent guy, but he messed up. He messed up. Many banned books. It's so crazy, man. I would love to know a list of banned books. I guess I could just Google that, but I'd like to get my hands on some of that. Buddy, relax. Walser, I think you will find that OMAD is good. You fast and eat. Maybe there's a psychological issue that you need that much calories. You don't want to lose muscle. Yes, I think you nailed it, man. I honestly think it's, yeah, I think I'm like working out some of my like residual psychological issues from eating a standard diet and poisons for like over 30 years. And it gave me, I don't know, just like a slight insecurity or something to where I felt like I needed to just eat food and find comfort through that, you know? Because like I've used other stuff. I've used substances and, you know, marijuana and all that type of stuff and sugar and pop and coffee and tea and like all that stuff to like find comfort and stimulate myself in the past. But now that I don't have any of that stuff in my life, like all I have is like this raw primal thing. So it's like I'm substituting raw primal for that stuff, you know? For your hugs and kisses for your dogs. Here you go, buddy. Hugs and kisses for you, buddy. Yeah, they get all sorts of love, these guys. They're spoiled. Spoiled little brats. Eat raw meats. He didn't like Germany anymore because of the government. Nemo, what do you think about the conspiracy about Hitler's having contact with aliens? Sounds a bit ridiculous. I'm not sure if aliens exist. I think aliens are actually like demons and angels. So I believe I am more into the good and evil, demons and angels influencing people more than the whole aliens thing. BP, Merkel is pure evil. It sure seems that way, man. Eat raw meat. Also, many symbols and runes from the Germanic time are banned. Wow, that's unbelievable, dude. That's strange. How could they do that, you know? That has to be what's going on with like my family. Matt F., the burning of the Library of Alexandria was also a huge deal. Man. Like, the more that I crack into these books here and find these, like, little nugs of just complete genius wisdom, it just makes me wonder what kind of stuff was burned in those libraries, man. You know? What kind of really good advice. But life is honestly so simple, guys. It's like, what kind of stuff would have there been in... What kind of stuff would have been in there that... you know, you wouldn't know just by kind of listening to your heart in a sense. You know what I'm saying? That's why I think it's really good to know that God gives us all the knowledge we need in our heart. It's just a matter of figuring out how to access it, you know? And I truly believe that too much knowledge is poison. And the pursuit of knowledge can kill the spirit. So that's why I'm against the whole intellectualism. That's why I'm against going to college, any of that stuff. Everybody in my family went to college, and if anybody should have went to college in my family, it should have been me, and I'm like the only one that didn't go to college, so it's like pretty interesting how that worked out. And now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure none of my family members are using their college degrees right now, so they basically just wasted 4 years and tens of thousands of dollars. I think we should focus on this raw fasting diet instead of politics, to be honest. Yeah, I don't know why I brought up. We're talking about basically German heritage, blah, 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 and all that stuff. But I think a lot of people want to just talk about nutrition, and that's cool too. But I think some people might get slightly bored with that for like 3 hours. So it's kind of cool to like spice it up a little bit here and there. Eat raw meats. How old do those dogs get? I have no idea, man. I never knew even like Pitskis existed before I got these guys. So I'd probably have to look up lifespans of the pit bull, lifespans of a husky, and maybe just do an average or something like that. But I feed them so well, I'm hoping they'll go 15, 20 years, man. We'll see. Nemo, and I believe that the whole angels and demons are aliens. Yeah, I think that's what's going on. That's what's really going on. Maybe in Taylor, the Jews lost like 109 wars, and each one they had started the conflict. And each loss, they lost food, only grains. Look at their genetics. That's interesting. Matt F., that's a good point, Weston. This diet has put me in touch with nature and made me realize I don't need a lot. Yeah, it's it simplifies things, man. It's almost too simple. It's scary, you know? You start losing your attachment with all this material stuff in your life, and you're like, oh, I want that back, but you realize you really don't want it, you know? Like going out and like going shopping or something like that, it sounds like a horrible time. Just going out and just buying stuff, you know, even though I could, you know? It just sounds like a terrible time. just buying a bunch of material shit, it does nothing for me. Absolutely nothing. I love like blowing a bunch of money on healthy food. That's like my favorite thing to do nowadays. Because you know that you're just putting life back into yourself. Maven Taylor, the Chinese were huge and brute people. Then due to the loss, they ate mostly grains and now are thin. Huh. Is that what happened? Brian M. Ernst Zundel was plucked from his cozy life in Tennessee Smoky Mountains with his lovely wife and extradited to Canada and then to German prisons in his 70s. Ursula is 91 in prison too. Oh, man. Jeez, dude. That's disturbing. Walser, I can't believe what Bible said about longevity. The Bible was written through centuries. Many writers contributed the text to manipulate people. You could be right. You could be right. Definitely. But what's interesting about the Bible about longevity and fasting and all that stuff is it's not just found in the Bible. So it's very, very interesting how it's found in like many different texts. But yes, the Bible has been subjected to corruption. People have altered it. People have mistranslated words, which completely change up the messages, you know. But for the most part, I think the fasting thing, and I'm not sure exactly what specific part of the Bible you're talking about, but I do believe in eternal life, and I do believe in fasting. So, you Robbie, why do they say college is so expensive in the U.S.? It's only in the U.S. you need to pay. I guess I don't know. Do you guys have free college? Like that blows my mind. Yeah, college is absolutely absurd, dude. Like, if I just want to go to like a community college and just take one class with the book, you're looking at like $400 for one class, man. And you need to take like 4 or 5 per quarter. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, it's unbelievable, dude. The books are like $100 to $200. I almost went back to college last summer, guys. I tested into pre-calculus and I decided I was going to go get an engineering degree. And you know what made me quit? Was, well, first off, the office ladies that worked in the college proved themselves to be entirely incompetent, and they completely like screwed up my class plan. Even though I sat there for like 2 hours with her one day and did it with her, she still screwed up my class plan. So I realized that the people working in the college were retards. And so I was like, why would I want to go to college? The people that work here aren't even intelligent. And so that happened. And then I kind of looked past that, and I started to look at like how much my books were. And my trigonometry book was like $150. And I couldn't justify it, man. I felt like I was getting ripped off. And I felt like my heart told me, man, you got to listen to your heart, guys, when it comes to college and stuff. Don't listen to other people. My heart told me that it was a ripoff. Don't go. And I am so glad I didn't fall back into that trap again. I've done this in my life about 4 times. Gone back to college, stopped, gone back to college, stopped, gone back to college, stopped. It was never right, and it got worse every time I went back. It seemed more unnatural every single time I went back. You know, especially after having, I've got like, 25 years of work experience in my belt right now. So, once you get like actual work experience, working with real men, working blue collar jobs, seeing how much money you can make in blue collar jobs, seeing how happy blue collared workers are, like mechanics and construction workers, and then you go into like a classroom, it's just so fake, dude. It's so incredibly fake, and it's so incredibly expensive compared to real life that it's an undeniable scam, guys. Being funded by the government and the banks, because the government are subsidizing the banks to make the loans. Freya, living off grid is freedom, away from the city, no TV, no cell phones. That sounds interesting. I don't know if I could do that forever though, but I'm willing to go without TV. I might want to keep like at least one phone, you know. Freya, living in the nature is freedom. I agree. Theo Johnson, obviously the Jews in control don't care about their own kind, as Israel pushes veganism a lot on its own people. For living in the country that gives you freedom to live where and how you want to live, it's fair to respect their law. That's not a big deal. Maven Taylor, college seems to be targeting mostly women now. It used to be the opposite. Just look at college ads. Yeah, isn't that weird? Yeah. It's because they're trying to take women out of the home. The one person that can give birth to a family and raise the child. That's the mom's job. So they're trying to take the women out of the home. This all started with like feminism, guys. They're basically sabotaging women's happiness by convincing them that they need to go into college, not raise a family, not listen to their husbands. It's like, it's a recipe to make a miserable lady. Do you guys know about the sweaty t-shirt study? I think we should probably go over, some of you guys probably know about this, but maybe I can link it. Let's see if I can find a good one here. All right, so let's watch this real quick. This is called the sweaty t-shirt experiment. This is very interesting. So what they did was they made men wear t-shirts, and then they exercised, and then they had women choose. They put them in a bag, and they had women choose which t-shirt they thought smelled the best. And they also did a immune system swab on both of the subjects, and they found that the women chose naturally a partner that had a good immune system match for them based on smell. And so what this means is if they had children together, their children would have a strong immune system based entirely on how the woman thinks the man smells good, right? But they might not tell you this in the video, but the most interesting part about this is that the women on birth control actually chose the incorrect, incompatible mate. And also, guys, there is a spike in divorces when women go off of birth control. So it's potential that birth control is screwing up women's mate choices. But let's watch this real quick, because this is just off topic from nutrition, but this is very, very enlightening stuff.
As individuals. And the reason for this may be rather surprising. Beauty may not be so much in the eye of the beholder, but in the nose.
Both men and women want to make healthy babies, and that means babies with a robust immune system that fights off disease. Each of us passes the ability to fight some diseases to our children in our genes. And our instincts prime us to choose a mate with a very different immune system to our own. Why? Because that way our children get the best chance of fighting illness. When it comes to these genes, opposites attract. I'm putting these instincts to the test at Newcastle University. I'm going to sniff t-shirts worn by these women. All of us have had our blood tested. for 6 genes that reveal what type of immune system we have. If all 6 of my genes match all 6 of a woman's, that's bad. I should find her smell unappealing because our children are likely to be less healthy. But if only 1 or 2 genes match, that's good. I should find the smell attractive because it would mean our children would be naturally more healthy. Each woman has slept in a t-shirt over 2 nights, so it should be really smelly. The t-shirts have been put in a sealed bag and kept in a freezer. Then they're placed in a jar, and the scientist, Craig Roberts, makes me get sniffing. I'm putting these instincts to the test at Newcastle University. I'm going to sniff t-shirts worn by these women.
What we'll do now is give you the t-shirts that the women, 6 women, have been wearing.
I find it very difficult to believe this is going to work, but I'll try it.
Okay.
Come on.
Give it a go.
And I've got to sniff this.
If you can bear it.
Okay. It's not quite as bad as I expected. No, I don't like that one quite so much, so I'll move that there in ranking, all right? I mean, some of them are definitely smellier than others. Yeah, it's not bad.
I've lined them up. The most attractive smells are on the left. But are they the most genetically different, showing the lowest scores out of 6?
It's 0 out of 6.
Fabulous. Well, your nose has performed.
And then this one. That is
See,
0 out of 6. That's
Very good.
amazing.
It's very good.
I'm actually beginning to believe this now. 1 out of 6.
1 out of 6.
So now we're presumably counting the ones that I least preferred.
Yes.
And so they should actually have a higher number.
They should have a high number.
Good Lord. This is the last one, and that's 4 out of 6. Congratulations. I'm really very impressed.
So it appears our instincts have evolved to pick up invisible signals to find the most compatible partner.
All right, guys. So what that means is that's 4 out of 6 and 0 out of 6 is how many genes that they had, or how many immune system matches that they had between the partners, and you want the less. You want to not match up with your partner so you can have opposite immune system traits for your children. And here's what they're hiding from that study, guys. Here's what they don't want you to know. They don't want you to know that the original study was done with women smelling men's shirts, and the women on birth control, they chose incorrectly. So they chose incorrect immune system matches, guys. So that's very, very interesting stuff that the feminists don't want you to know. So basically, birth control screws up your ability to choose a sexual mate. Makes perfect sense, doesn't it? Andres Hardo, you look like Ben Affleck. I've gotten that quite a few times. My mom used to say it all the time. Birth control pills should be banned. Isn't it crazy? Matt F. Another thing this diet has done to me is I absolutely hate scents. Cologne, perfume, air fresheners. Me too. Yeah. Super unnatural. P. Miller, birth control is a weapon just like most things nowadays. Yes. Matt F. looks like Walt White wearing Gus Fringe's attire. That's funny. Yeah, he did kind of look like Walter White. That's funny. Froya, when a woman chooses to take birth controls, she's deciding not to have children. Yeah, isn't that weird? And how many women actually choose it? Like, eat raw meat. All women were white in this video. Racist. It is racist. Too many white people, man. Let's get some diversity going on there. Jew Sheckelstein, you drink water during the fast. Yes. Yeah, I actually, I'm not craving as much water today because I was really dehydrated yesterday from because I vomited the day before. But I just kind of sip it. Froya, if you don't shave your armpits, you will smell bad. This is gross to watch. Yeah, isn't that funny? He stuck his nose way in there. KB, has anyone else noticed their body odor change on this diet? Almost like a good smell? Definitely. It's like a sweet smell. Happy Saturday, KP. Nemo, but women like attractive rich man though. That's it. Status has a lot to do with it, man. That's why I always talk about the social sexual hierarchy, alpha males, gamma males. Guess what gamma males don't get, guys? They don't get girls. And that is the probably number one thing that they're embarrassed of about themselves. And so that's why they lash out at alpha males and sigma males that get all the women. That's why gamma males are so upset all the time, guys. They don't get any girls. Luna DC, scary stuff. Yeah, hey Luna. Eat raw meat. That's why they want race mixing, because the children get weak and the family gets destroyed. No real roots. True. Yeah, they want to mix up your culture and get you all confused on where you came from and what you should be eating and what you should be celebrating and what God you should be worshiping and all that stuff. Little Viking coach, have you watched the Fasting Fat Man channel? He lost 300 pounds in 1 year. I think I actually have. I think I've seen that guy. I've seen at least one or two guys like that. Froya, feminists are not women. They're not. They're they have the body of a woman, but they have a spirit of a man. Luna DC, birth control pills are the worst. I was like someone else when I took them. And the thing is, you only realize when you stop taking them after years of taking them. It's very deceptive. Wow. You felt like you were someone else. That's interesting. Luna, did you feel like, because I've heard about birth control, and you don't have to answer if you don't want to, but I've heard that people on birth control, women on birth control tend to choose more, I guess, beta males than alpha males. And I've also heard that when women get off birth control, they have like an urge to be attracted to more alpha men. Did you experience that? Andreas Hartel, real Luna in here? Definitely. Eat raw meat. Ben Affleck, but without the huge HGH head. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But it's interesting, we're almost about the same height too. So it's probably, I think he's about 6'2". I think that's why we resemble each other so closely. It's not just the obvious stuff, but it's like we're about the same size, so we're like the same proportions in a sense. Maven Taylor, women think birth control gives them power when it actually takes away their power. Absolutely. Yeah, it does take away their power. It takes their power to be able to discern between what men they should be actually mating with. Luna DC, yes it does. Take away their power. P. Miller, Maven, it's the upside down world. Feminism is power and marriage and children are slavery. Yep. And masculinity is toxic. The only thing that can protect you from evil, you know what I'm saying? I mean, obviously it's God, but the only thing that can prevent you or protect you from violence and danger in this world is masculinity, and they want to call that toxic. Kai Salas, I'm not sure if that's the real Luna. It is. No, Mario, you're jittering a bit. First time I see it on your stream. Not trying to hate on the fasting, just pointing it out. Yeah, so I have a lot of energy right now, man. It's really interesting. Like, I'm not shaky or anything. Like, I'm super steady. I've always had a steady hand, but I'm very calm. I'm just I'm stimulated talking to you guys because I'm on a fast right now, and I have like no stimulation coming into my life because I'm just in like almost like a meditation mode. So all these lights and stuff in my face and everything, it's got me a little energized, and I'm like moving my legs. Mad F Ben Affleck, I think more like Clive Owen. I've gotten Clive Owen too. That's funny. You guys have nailed it. I think you've gotten you basically nailed both of them. Those are my two doppelgangers. Ben Owen, Clive Affleck. Who else have I gotten? Let me think. No, basically just Ben Affleck and Clive Owen. Yeah, I'll take that. There's a couple handsome fellas. Froya, depends on what woman is looking for in a man, money, or family. That's true. I mean, we obviously know what a real woman should be looking for. Luna DC, don't think so, no. Froya, I've never taken birth control pills. I was always told by my girlfriends it would help with cramps and all, but I never took any. Ibrahim Ismail, it's also in the face. You guys look alike. Yeah, it's most likely we share very similar genetics. Like, I would guess that Ben Affleck is probably also British, German, and Irish, like I am, possibly some Scandinavian. But I bet me and Ben Affleck like share a lot of genetics. We're probably like third or fourth cousins or something. You never know. Luna DC, hard to remember. Probably yes. Matt F, what the heck? Yeah, I'm sure it's hard to remember, Luna, especially if the pills made you a whole different person. Matt F, what the heck? Clive Owen is 6'2". Interesting. I think Affleck is 6'4". Yeah, you're right. We're all about the same height. That's really interesting, guys. So like you're comparing me with people that have like the same proportions. And it seems like Clive Owen would probably have similar genetics too. He definitely seems like he's a Germanic fella. Maven Taylor, my friend is very different on birth control, definitely. Also, she's very tired and imbalanced than normal. Luna DC, I've been off birth control for 7 years now, luckily. A good deal. I had a girlfriend on birth control for a long time. She was on it for like 3 years. And I gotta say, it wasn't like the best relationship. It was kind of weird, yeah. It was like something was a little off with it. Luna DC had a really strong feeling all of a sudden to quit. Nemo, female promiscuity is a sign of mental weakness. They want to portray it as something a strong, independent woman does. Yeah, it is definitely a weakness, and it's probably because they had weak fathers, and they're looking for some kind of strong male figure in their life. And the only way they can find out how to get these men into their life is by luring them in with sex. Pretty sure that's how that happens. Because women that have strong fathers don't turn out to be promiscuous. So it's like they've already established that strong connection with their father, which connects you to the Heavenly Father. That's how you connect to God. That's the easiest way. It's not the only way, but that's the easiest way for children and people to connect with God, is by having a strong father that is also connected to God, and the child will see God in the father and will recognize that. But if you don't get that experience, a lot of people grow up atheists that don't have fathers. There's a connection between atheism and shitty fathers, guys. If you're an atheist and you had a bad father, or you didn't have a father in your life, etc., it was most likely because of that. Andreas, a lot of celebs turning up in your streams, for sure. Luna DC, for sure, and the pill makes more promiscuous too. Wow, interesting. Yeah, interesting, for sure. Makes sense. Ibrahim Ismail, women get so much attention because of social media, so I guess it's hard for them to not be promiscuous. Yeah, maybe. I don't think women in general are promiscuous. I really think it comes down to the individual. You got to look at the family unit, guys. You can't like make generalizations. You have to look at each individual woman. Where did she come from? What kind of family did she come from? What kind of dad did she have? And you got to kind of measure all of that and see what happened. But yeah, 99 out of 100 women that had strong fathers just don't end up being promiscuous. So that's why it's just so important to reinforce the strong family units and to elevate that as a priority above anything in this world, because that's the only thing that's going to protect your children from being deceived by evil. In DC, social media is one of the biggest traps. It is. It's also one of the biggest blessings too, you know? I never would have found Severia through social media. It's such a double-edged sword. You gotta understand that's the rules of the world that we live in. There's nothing really we can do to change it. It's almost like complaining about the government or something like that, you know? It's like, that's just the rules that we live in. You gotta live with it. I mean, you could obviously move to a different country if you hate your government, but for the most part, social media definitely is a double-edged sword. It's like super unnatural, but at the same time, it can lead you to some beautiful things like the primal diet and stuff if you talk to the right people. And also it can get information out about vaccines and stuff like that. So it's like very, very helpful in ways, but yeah, it can definitely, it can trap you for sure. Maven Taylor, is anyone sick of women in yoga pants? No offense, but it's too much. A little bit, yeah. It's a little like when every one of them wears it, it's like, okay, it's, Luna DC, this is cool though, but all that stuff like Facebook, Instagram, etc. is really a waste. Yeah, I'm starting to think that, you know, it's like YouTube, there's definitely an advantage to YouTube because there's a transparency there that you don't get with normal social media because it's just me. It's like the closest thing to real life, I guess. I never thought about that. It's the closest thing to real social interaction. It's just through a camera, but you're seeing everything here is authentic, you know what I mean? It's not edited. And it's all off the cuff, right? So that's really what life is about. It's just all about just being natural and off the cuff. But when you look at certain carnivore channels where everything's overproduced and all that stuff, it should really make you question when people are overproducing their videos. It should really make you question what they're trying to cover up by the overproduction, you know? So that's why I try to make my streams just kind of really just raw and bare and just simple like this, talking to people, because like it seems like this is the easiest way to get through some of the mud here and try to figure out what is true and what's not true about this whole health and nutrition thing. Luna DC, I like yoga pants, super comfy too. They look extremely comfortable. Yeah, I don't blame women for wearing them at all. But just the black ones. I'm kind of tired of the black ones. Let's lose the black ones. Let's get some different colors in there, you know what I'm saying? Some rainbow pants. Yoga pants equals sex sells. Oh yeah. Women don't even know. Women have no idea when yoga pants first came out, the how shocking that was for men, because it's like you didn't see that side of the woman really in public like that. It was very interesting. Froya, they're super comfy. I love yoga pants, LOL. Yeah, they look undeniably comfy. Luna DC, interesting though, considering birth control changes your hormones, stops your own basically, and replaces them with synthetical ones. Would it be safe to assume it makes you less feminine and therefore more masculine, making you less attracted to real masculine men? Yeah, that's definitely, I think, something to do with it. Less attracted to real masculine men, and also less attractive to real masculine men. You know? Because it's very interesting. Yeah, when you really wake up to birth control and you realize how kind of evil that is to do to women, that's so weird, man. Jeremy, our birth control makes them go crazy. It screws with their hormones, obviously. Yeah. Birth control pills are pure estrogen, right? I knew you guys would like that video. I knew that would trigger some nice conversation. When I first heard about that sweaty t-shirt study, guys, it blew my freaking mind. And when I found out that they were hiding information from it, when they didn't tell you that the women were choosing men incorrectly that were on birth control, that's what made that study so famous. Is because people found out they were hiding segments of the study away from us. And also, I can't confirm or deny this, but I've heard this and it makes perfect sense. That women that get off birth control, there's a spike in divorce during times when women get off their pills. Before you always ask your partner about their ancestors, who they are. It's a good idea. Eat raw meat makes sense. Testosterone goes down by many factors and estrogen goes up through pills. Men get weaker and weaker and women get stronger and stronger. Total reversal. Yeah, and also they're dumping those birth controls in our water supply and shit, right? So it's like, it's also getting to us through our tap water. Gamma males galore, for sure. Yeah, I'm wondering, yeah, so that's a good point. So I'm wondering if birth control makes women attracted to gamma males. That's essentially what I was going to ask Luna, but she said she can't quite remember. But yeah, I'm wondering if birth control makes women attracted to gamma males. Basically, yeah, you'd have to look it up to know, but more so than alphas. And it makes sense that it would, because birth controls is kind of sort of like a feminist type thing to do. And you know feminists hate alpha males. Because feminists are like basically gamma males in a female's body, right? That's what a feminist is. It's a woman with the spirit of a man. And so it would make sense that a feminist female, which is essentially like the same spirit as a gamma male, would resent alpha males, because gamma females are also, or I'm sorry, feminist females are low status females. They're not desirable by men. They know they're low status, and so they typically will, I think, preemptively hate alpha males because they know alpha males don't want them. So it's kind of weird how that all works, but I think I got it figured out. It's really not hard to figure out, man, when you understand that we're spirits. If you're born a female, you have the spirit of a female. If you're born a man, you have the spirit of a man. Things can happen in your life that make you adopt certain spirits, and spirits can inhabit your body like a home. You have to understand that. So you can be raised by only your mother as a man, and you will adopt the spirit of a woman. And this is proven, man. You can look at anybody. There's celebrities that we know that didn't have good relationships with their fathers, raised by their mothers, etc. 100% of them have spirit of a woman. So you got to ignore all this nonsense that men and women are the same thing and it's all just gobbledygook. There's a distinct difference between the male spirit and the female spirit. Once you see that, you start to see how these spirits make different homes inside of people that it shouldn't be there. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of gay guys have the spirit of a woman inside of them, which is why you see a lot of gay guys being feminine, desiring men, acting like women. They literally have inhabited the spirit of a female inside of their body. So it's pretty easily explained. Luna, like I said, this is cool, but things like Instagram and Facebook is just a distraction, I think. Yeah, it's kind of corny. I hate Facebook. Nemo, the moment the internet was created, a second world was born. Yeah, it's like a different dimension. I've heard it explained like different dimensions. Like when you're talking to someone on the phone and you guys are like in that like phone world, that's actually a different dimension that they created. Beef Commando, only thing I don't like about yoga pants is the way they're made of 100% polyester, so you're wearing plastic. Oh, really? I didn't know polyester was plastic. It's fascinating. I think this thing's got some polyester in it. Kai Salas, it's sad that a lot of men barely in their 30s are having to go on testosterone replacement therapy just to feel normal again. It's not natural to be low T at that age. It's probably due to diet. No, it has to be. Yeah, I got a friend friend of mine that's on testosterone, and he doesn't look anything like he used to. I keep telling him just to get on this diet and correct his diet, you know, and stuff, but he doesn't listen to me. So you can only reach out to people so much, and you just got to kind of let them suffer, man. Because I know it's gonna bite him in the end. You know what I'm saying? It's not natural, dude. Not only is it not natural to have low T in your 30s, it's not natural to inject testosterone into your butt. You know what I'm saying? That is like absurd. KV, I'm much happier. Let's see, what'd you say? And more able to connect with other humans since I left all social media 2 years ago. Good deal. Except YouTube, if that counts. YouTube definitely is social media, but I understand what you mean. This is a way more effective way of communicating with people. There's a lot less trolls on here, you know what I mean? Because like, what social media does, guys, is it makes you say things to people that you wouldn't normally say to their face. I am 100% guilty of this. I've texted people shit that I would never say to them to their face in my entire life. But when you get in arguments with people over the phone, when you get in arguments with people over social media, stuff like that, and you don't have that person in the same room with you in spirit, you tend to lash out at people and be a little bit more hard on people than you should. And that's when you see all these like fights and little bitch fights and cat fights and gamma male fights on Facebook, Instagram. You see it on YouTube too, but not as much. But when you're on these platforms like Facebook and Instagram and Reddit and stuff like that, you're protected by this shield of you don't get to see my face necessarily, like live like this, and I don't get to see your face either, right? So it's like two faceless beings arguing with each other when there's no, the spirit has been completely taken out of the situation. That's why it's so important to interact with people in person, because you get to feel their spirit, you know what I mean? And you don't say things to people normally in person that you would say online, and vice versa. And so social media really is a great way to sabotage like natural relationships, you know, because it's so fundamentally unnatural to interact with people without having that sensation that you're in the room with someone else. Is like, you can't feel their vibes, you know what I mean? But yeah, like Reddit is like the worst example of that, man, because it's like, it's just, there's no pictures, it's just all text. So you got all of these gamma males that basically, a lot of people that would be afraid normally to show their face in public show up at places like this so they can lash out at people. Maybe Taylor, I liked Milk Jar's video quality, talk about raw and authentic. Yeah, he was very raw. Honestly, what are yoga pants actually? Just a legging, right? I like the leggings. Yeah, basically. Yeah, Milk Jar should come back, but I don't blame him for getting off grid. He put a lot of work into his channel, and I think he made a realization that I've also made. He made it way before I did, because he's been doing this for way longer. But I made the same realization, man. There's rules to this world. You're not allowed to wake up the world unless they've been woken up by God first. All you can do is change yourself and hope that people follow your example by lead. And all you can do is change. As a man, you can be an example for your wife and your children and hope that they follow your lead, which they most likely will if you're a good example. And then hopefully your family can be an example for your community. But this whole trying to revolutionize the world, through videos and stuff like that is like arguably, it's kind of a waste of time, because you're not going to wake up people that weren't meant to wake up. Like, I truly believe that a lot of people aren't even meant to wake up in this world. So you're kind of like shouting out into the abyss when you get on the internet and you're trying to like, wake up everybody, I'm here to wake y'all up, wake up to the truth, blah, blah, blah. It's like, it really doesn't work like that. It doesn't work on the internet, and it really doesn't work in real life either. I'm sure you guys can understand that. Like, I've talked to my friends about certain stuff with nutrition and life, and I've tried to wake them up. They don't wake up. Even I got friends with IQs in the 150s, 140s. They still haven't woke up. It doesn't matter what I tell them. They will not wake up. It doesn't matter how intelligent you are. It has nothing to do with your brain. It has everything to do with your spirit. And so it's just really hard to wake up people's spirits through videos. It's something that has to be done almost like internally or in person, you know, but it's something that I think has to come from God first. I really think it is, man. But that doesn't mean like what Sveria does by warning people, like warning new recruits about the potential dangers of veganism. I think that's very important that he's doing that, and that's a personal thing that he does because he was a vegan himself, and so I think that's a good thing to warn people about the pitfalls of veganism, etc., etc. Eat raw meat. Use social media for learning and make good contacts. Don't be entertainment. Entertainment is to keep up, maintain, to keep someone in a certain frame of mind. Oh, that's a very interesting definition. Nemo. Yoga pants give you a taste of the product for free, basically, yeah. Matt F. Does Ozgenes say what people should start out on this diet? I think he said eggs is one thing. If your intestines are like really damaged, then eggs are going to be, yeah, about the only thing you can digest. Then start with raw eggs, but then slowly add in raw milk, add some butter and honey, and just kind of go from there. Work your way up to solids. Froy, I wear different colors too. I have burgundy, blue, and black ones. I have more black ones because everything goes with black. Yeah, I'm a big fan of black too. But yeah, I'm a fan of colored yoga pants. The black ones are... Everybody's got black. It's a little played out. Luna DC, oh right, interesting. Yeah, because they advertise it the other way around, that women on birth control are more attractive to men. Yeah. Yeah, I'm wondering if it's almost the opposite. It has to be. Because if it messes up their hormones and men find attractiveness through hormones and pheromones and stuff, then it has to alter that. This is why it can be dangerous after quitting. Your hormones have been stopped for all that time and then have to get back again. But since you don't take the synthetic ones either, you might all of a sudden be less protected from cancers in the womb. Makes you wonder, how much of those cancers come from the actual drug. Yo, AR, well water here. Nice. Luna DC, what is gamma again? The gamma male is like your typical low status male, but typically has like a higher intelligence than the average person. But it's like a low status male. So like men work inside of a hierarchy. Basically at the top you have alpha males. Then you have his right hand man would be the Bravo male. Then you have delta males below that, which are like your worker men. And then below that you get your gamma males and your omega males, right? So your omega males are like your school shooter type men. Like you're just real... fundamentally low status, lowest bottom of the barrel people, and then right above that is a gamma male, and just what you find on the internet is just boatloads of gamma males. It's basically just angry little men. They're fundamentally just kind of pissed off at their position in the hierarchy of men because they've been such a low status male their entire life that they're just kind of angry at like people that represent alpha males to them, like potentially like myself. That's why you get, every once in a while you get gamma males on my channel that you can tell, even though they don't know me, they're just kind of being a little bit rude or they don't like me or whatever. They're like that with every alpha male or every sigma male that they encounter. So I don't take it personally because I understand what gamma males are, but women hate gamma males. Women are like totally resistant to gamma males. Women can actually sniff out gamma males like way easier than most men. But yeah, typically gamma male is your average, right? They envy other males. Gamma male is your type of guy that would go completely out of his way to totally please a woman and like start writing her like poetry and stuff like the second day that he met her and stuff like that. Like that's gamma male type behavior, stuff like that. But look up, here, I'll link it again just because it's so interesting. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, you know what? Let's watch it again. This is a good lesson that everybody needs to know.
Welcome to Voxiversity. I'm Vox Day. Today we're going to delve deeper into the socio-sexual hierarchy. Last time we talked about alphas. Now we're going to talk about the lower end of the hierarchy, specifically the rank known as the gamma. Just a quick refresher, the socio-sexual hierarchy has 5 primary ranks: alpha, beta, delta, gamma, and omega. The gamma is possibly the most interesting socio-sexual rank and behavioral pattern in the entire hierarchy. This is because gammas are among the people with the most undeveloped potential in the socio-sexual hierarchy. Let's talk about what the characteristics of a gamma are. We know that they tend to be low status, but they're not complete social outcasts. They tend to be unattractive to women. They tend to be more intelligent than the norm. They tend to be overweight. They also tend to be subject matter experts. If you think about the average individual who is overly obsessive with regards to a particular hobby, that is almost certainly going to be a gamma. You may recall the movie from the 1980s called The Revenge of the Nerds. That movie is a gamma wish fulfillment movie that describes what life looks like from the gamma perspective. In fact, you see a lot of this in Hollywood, you see a lot of this in science fiction. These are some of the best places to get an unrestrained glimpse into the gamma psychology, because it's where people who are gammas are communicating their view of the world without trying to conceal it from you. Because one of the biggest characteristics of the gamma, and probably the most important one, the most definitive one, is their habitual dishonesty. Gammas tend to be very, very dishonest, both with themselves and others. Remember, this isn't primarily about rank. This isn't primarily about status, even though that is what people tend to focus on. What it's primarily about is the behavioral pattern, and there's no group that it is more important to be able to understand, identify, and anticipate than the gamma. If you've ever been on an internet site where there are comments, whether it's YouTube, a blog, whatever, you can almost identify the gammas simply by the number of words they use in a post. Because if you see a long post, you're going to see a lot of the very behavior that I'm describing. You see the posturing, you see the assumptions of superiority, you'll see the assumption of an ability to not only judge the other person, but even discern their motivations, and if necessary, read their minds. And the one thing that you will always see is the need to declare victory no matter what happens. It's very, very difficult and very painful, I think, for the gamma. If I had one thing, just one thing, that I could convince every gamma in the world, it's this: you're not fooling anyone. Even when you think you're fooling yourself, even when you are fooling yourself, you're not actually fooling us. What I'm talking about here is the protective bubble of delusion that gammas erect over time around themselves to protect their feelings. Because what you're dealing with here is people who have had to deal with a long and painful process of one rejection after another after another. If there's one thing that summarizes the gamma attitude more than any other, it's that I could have been successful had I wanted to. Because the gamma is always conflict avoidant and is also failure avoidant. The problem, of course, is You cannot live and avoid failure. Everybody fails sooner or later. Most of us fail on a regular basis. Doesn't matter whether it's an online argument or asking a girl out for a date or applying to a university, going to a job interview. You can't live without doing those things. But the pain of dealing with repeated failure is one reason why gammas so often retreat to their delusion bubble where they can declare themselves victors all the time. Gammas also tend to be highly, highly romantic. They're really into the big gesture. They're convinced that how much you like a woman matters with regards to whether she should be attracted to you or not. And that's why you'll often hear gammas talk about girls that they like who are interested in other guys as if the other guys are somehow ensorceling her. They're somehow tricking her, misleading her, deceiving her. And if only she knew how much he liked her, then she'd be interested. But it's not how a man treats a woman that determines how attractive he is to her. And that's one thing that the gammas tend to struggle with tremendously. Whenever you have a very attractive woman who, for no apparent reason, and without any warning, and without any indication of interest in the male protagonist, inexplicably begins a sexual relationship with him, which of course takes him completely by surprise. And from that moment on, the couple is together forever. That is the gamma ideal. Because gammas are fundamentally passive. They're passive aggressive, they're conflict avoidant, and they don't believe in pursuing women. In fact, they have an almost complete lack of understanding of women, which is kind of surprising because a lot of their behavioral patterns and thought patterns tend to be somewhat feminine in nature. In fact, there are some who actually describe the gamma as a female mind in a male body. So it's a little bit strange that they seem to be so inept when it comes to understanding and anticipating women. But women tend to be a vast mystery to the gamma. They don't know how to behave around women, especially not women that they're attracted to. And when they do finally summon up the courage to pursue them, they usually do so in such an over-the-top, inept way that it doesn't work very well. I should probably mention that women have gamma radar like you would not believe. If you're not sure about whether someone's a gamma or not, just ask a moderately attractive girl who knows them. Because women react negatively to gammas as if they're radioactive. A number of women have told me that they actually feel the urge to physically punch gammas in the face, just instinctively. So what are the practical aspects? From a male point of view, the first thing that you need to understand about the gammas is that they are almost always disruptive to your organization. And we have a lot of projects that we do, whether it's Voxiversity stuff, whether it's Castalia House stuff, whether it's Arkhaven stuff. We probably have 30 to 35 volunteers in various capacities with various responsibilities. You know, one thing that I had to learn to do is to stop accepting people who were volunteering to help. And the reason was, the more enthusiastic someone was about contacting me and wanting to help, I eventually discovered the more likely it was that they were a gamma. What would happen is that they would usually want more authority and responsibility than was at all reasonable for a volunteer. They wanted to be able to tell other people what to do, even though there's no rational reason for it. They would tell me what to do. Now, why would you ever want to permit someone like that to get any foothold in your organization? No matter what the organization is, they're going to disrupt it. And if they're given a free hand, they're very likely going to destroy it. Now the problem is that gammas are genuinely smarter than the norm. They may not be quite as intelligent as they think they are, but they do tend to be smart, and they do tend to be subject matter experts. When you're looking for a subject matter expert and you find somebody who has the information you need, don't be shocked when it turns out that the individual is a gamma. That's what they do. And so that's why it's so important to understand these tendencies, because that way you're much less likely to give into the temptation to actually bring the person on the team. You're usually going to be best able to operate with a gamma if they're in the position of like a contract employee or something. And so that they're more likely to be comfortable with that. Now, I understand that if you're somebody who feels that some of this applies to you, that you might be angry. It might upset you to hear this, but I don't know what else to tell you. This is true. This is reality. If you don't understand that this is why people don't like you, this is why people don't believe you, and that people really do see through your pretensions and your posturings, then you're just going to be stuck in that reality for the rest of your life. Now, it doesn't have to be that way. There was a guy who used to be a pretty strong gamma, and he managed to work his way out of that and transform himself and become a legitimate bona fide delta. He's much happier now, and he's even written a 4-part series on how to do it. The key thing, the first advice he had for the gamma is stop lying. Stop lying to yourself, stop lying to others, be brutally and relentlessly honest. The gamma mentality is fundamentally based on deception and on delusion. And so the more that you tell yourself the truth, the more that you force yourself to confront the truth, and the more that you admit the truth to others, the easier it is going to be to pull yourself out of that armor of delusion that you've assembled around yourself. This is Voxiversity. I'm Vox Day.
Please clap. All right, sorry to some of you guys that have seen that before, but that's just like really, really important. So I like to play that semi-regularly so people are at least aware of it, but some good wisdom to take with you as you go through life. Matt F., I heard Augemus ate 6 pounds of honey per month from Tufano. Is this true? I would think that would be too much sugar. I remember him saying that he would eat like ridiculous amounts of honey like that. So, apparently it worked for him certain times. It would work for him. It's mostly enzymes though, so I'm wondering if that kind of like negates the sugar issues, you know? Abraham Ismail, I think agriculture came about because groups of humans settled in an area and I ate all the animals in that location. That could be. Eventually the animals that did survive ran off, and then agriculture was created as another quick source of food. Yeah, it sounds like it, yeah. I think there's a few different things that probably went into that. Someone probably did it too to try to make money, you know, like as a business idea. Abraham Ismail, I think Augemus mentioned this in an interview. It makes sense. Matt F., okay, watching this video, the only thing I don't agree with is having an obsession with an activity, hobby makes you a gamma. Not necessarily, but it's a lot of gammas are like subject matter experts, you know? So that's why I'm against like intellectualism and stuff like that anymore. I'm like a reformed intellectual, because it was bringing a lot of gamma males into my life, and it was really annoying me, man. Like I was surrounded by gammas, and it was starting to turn me into a gamma. And so that's why I'm like so familiar with this stuff, because like, you know, I felt that coming out of me at a certain point in my life. So I decided to put a stop to it. And part of that is by removing gammas from your life, because they're kind of manipulative. Eat raw meat. Agriculture was created to weaken humans. It's way harder to do than hunting. Animal mother, he said the enzymes in the honey digest the sugar. That's what I'm thinking. Ibrahim Ismail, that's why Mayans ate corn, maize, and other plant crap, as well as many African tribes. They practiced agriculture. Europeans obviously did it. I love bee vomit. It's good stuff. Animal mother, how many oranges did you eat in a day to gain weight? It wasn't how many I ate per day as much as it was, well, I ate up to 2. I'll never met more than 2. But I would eat it at night. So I would do it intentionally so my body would store it as fat. So I would eat an orange with a bunch of cheese. And I would just do that every single night. So as to hopefully induce like fat storage. And it seemed to work. But even like grapes worked too. So, but orange is just my favorite one to do. Raw milk and honey is also a good way to gain weight. Kai Salas, only heated honey spikes your blood sugar. Unheated raw can be eaten as much as you crave it. That's what it seems like. I've never felt that like blood sugar rush you get in your head from honey. Eat raw meat. They created agriculture to create slaves. That's what I'm thinking, man. I'm thinking somebody had some land and some money and it came up with an idea to create agriculture and then create a business. But what it created instead of a business was actual like slavery and sick people. Nemo, what about people who are always alone? Another thing that he calls gammas is the secret king. That's like one of like the perfect descriptions of the gamma. He's a secret little king. Like nobody knows how special he is. Like gammas think they're little special boys that they like to tell people they know things. You know what I mean? That's like a typical behavior of the gamma. Is they will correct you. They will say actually blah 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 blah. That's a gamma male type behavior. And also they just can't wait to tell you how much they know about stuff. And it usually comes off like annoying. You know what I'm saying? It's one thing to blow someone's mind and tell them some shit that they've never heard before in their life. It's another thing to be a gamma male and just go around correcting people and telling them they're wrong and dumping a bunch of information that you know onto them and stuff. I think everybody knows somebody like this. So most men, at least most real men, know 100% what I'm talking about or who I'm talking about. Nemo, I have been alone for about 4 years. That sucks, man. Get around some people if you're feeling bummed out. But you know, you don't need anybody but God. And I know that sounds probably ridiculous to a lot of people, but you know, I'm not around a bunch of people like every single day. So I found that once I stopped depending on, basically I stopped depending on women. You know, I stopped depending on women for my happiness and I found a direct connection to God instead. It made me much happier and it made me realize that you're born alone, you're going to die alone, and the only person that's with you the whole time is God. So it's best to get used to that concept, start to build a relationship with him because there's no one else that's going to escort you out of this world but him. Eat raw meat. I prefer to be alone because everyone around here is brainwashed beyond belief. Yeah, it sucks, doesn't it? Nemo, I don't really feel anything, to be honest. That's good. Stay stoic. Emotions are not a masculine trait, man. And I know there's some women that are going to disagree with this, but emotions come from women. So it's an instinct they have. They're naturally more empathetic than men and stuff like that. It's built into them so they can respond to the baby and stuff like that. But men naturally are not emotional. So if you're not feeling any emotions, that's good. Stay stoic, stay logical, stay rational, man. That's the way to be. Animal mother, I'll let you know my weight gain progress going forward. Do that. Okay, yeah, that's good to know. If you see any benefits with that. Raw honey is so delicious. It's the best. Raw unfiltered. I was drinking filtered for a while. Froya, got to go have a good day. All right, have a good weekend. Good to see you again. Luna DC, you too. Eat raw meat. I used to feel like this is a vegan. I know stuff and everyone else is stupid and always pushing this on others. I'm telling you, man. It really takes one to know one, and it really helps you grow as a person when you realize what you used to be and how it used to annoy people. I was like that too, dude. I definitely had some moments in my life where I was being a pure gamma, for sure. I think I'm naturally a sigma, but just certain things in life can push you into adopting certain behaviors, you know? But I think that's for some people they're temporary, but for a lot of people, you're just fundamentally a gamma. I've never fundamentally been a gamma. I think I just was made that way through just life, man, you know? Just shit happening in life and getting mad at it, not accepting it and stuff like that. Not accepting my status, basically. That's basically what it is, I think. There was moments in my life where I was more low status than I am now. And so I didn't want to accept it, and I thought I was like a secret king and stuff like that. But once I actually obtained status, you know, like got my money right, got my attitude right, you know, I have a house, I'm not living in an apartment, I own my vehicle, I'm completely debt free, you know. Once I obtained a little bit of status, in the sense that, you know, it made me a different person in a sense, you know. I started accepting my position a little more, but gammas typically can't, it's hard for them to obtain status because they just don't naturally have it. But I think certain traumas in life can make people turn into gammas and start acting that way. Jeremy, our personality changes on this diet, in my opinion, for the better. Definitely, man. Yeah. I feel like an entirely different person, man. I've never felt this good. Eat raw meat, emotions are for control. That's what movies are for. Yes. Music too, man. Don't forget about music, man. That manipulates your emotions. But if you're listening to the right type of music, it's a good emotional manipulation. Like classical music will take you on like a good ride, you know? Maven Taylor, I made a simple comment on Meat of the Matter channel and met my best bud that way. That's all it took to find a good friend. Yeah, totally, man. Exactly. Another good way to meet friends and meet people, guys, is to get involved in business. Go get a job, get yourself involved in a business, try to obtain a higher status position inside that business, you know? Get a job working with the public. I've had plenty of jobs like that. You know, I've had jobs where I was changing oil, where I was like holding signs, you know, oil change signs in intersections and stuff. Like I've just, you know, you gotta put yourself out there, man. You know, if you're isolated, you're lonely, you're not meeting people. As a man, the best way to do it that I found is through your work, you know, because when you get a job with other men, it's like an army, it's like a team, and you build up like a camaraderie with them, and like it's really awesome, man. Any guy out there that has a job and works with other men knows what I'm talking about. It's one of the most genuine forms of camaraderie that you can get in this life is by working with men, you know, as a man. That's why it's hard for me to respect certain. Yeah, I'm not going to go there, but eat raw meat. They spike your emotions to weaken you. Yes, they want you to be emotional and to react to everything. And once you react to everything, you're weakened and you're vulnerable, and they can control you. Don't fall for the emotional type stuff, guys. Like, you're not a sociopath if you don't feel emotions. You're just stoic and logical, more so than the average person, you know? Now, if you're, you know, hurting animals and stuff, and you don't feel like bad after that, then that's different. But you don't always have to feel like you have to react emotionally to everything, you know? Everything, this whole world is trying to make everybody over emotionalized, and it's just, once you separate yourself from that, things become a lot more clear. Like the media is great at doing that, man. The media just pushes rhetoric to manipulate your emotions, and you got to see past all that, you know? Like the World War III thing. We were supposed to have World War III, right? What happened to World War III? That was all emotional manipulation. Nemo, what if you were isolated but you make money at home? Is it necessary to socialize? Yeah, it's definitely still necessary. But, I mean, you don't have to force it, you know? It depends on kind of how you got into that situation in the first place, you know what I mean? But it is definitely not normal for us to be totally isolated. That's definitely, it's not normal. And I would say it's probably necessary to socialize. So you're doing what we're all doing, man. I mean, we're all kind of in the same boat, dude. You know what I mean? You just don't take it so hard. You know what I mean? It's like, life can be like a very lonely existence, especially when you're not connected with God, with like the source of all love in the world. It's not something that I can explain to you or give to you, but it is something that can be obtained. So I can promise you that you can be very, very content and happy just being alone, especially as a man. Luna DC, Nemo, if you feel like it, probably good to do so somewhat. Eat raw meat, social behavior is a hoax, being friendly is a hoax. Yeah, it really is like beyond your tribe and your family. It's really unnatural to befriend a bunch of people that aren't like related to you. Ibrahim Ismail, based on that book that you were reading, how much should we eat? Natural human diet. Man, dude, you'll have to read it for yourself, you know, because there's so much information in here. But way less than we should be eating is what this book is saying, guys. But then again, this book came from 100 years ago, and it was out before we had like an extremely toxic society. It was still pretty toxic, but I would say go with your instincts. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to the book. Eat when you're hungry, you know, and stop eating until you're hungry again, and then eat again. But how much should you eat per meal? I would say weigh yourself and get like a basis for how much you weigh, and then just try and then make sure that you're at an adequate weight, and then just make sure you're not losing too much weight, and that should be a pretty good indicator of how much you should eat. Just watch your weight to make sure you're not losing weight. And energy, obviously. Nemo, that's what some friends used to tell me. That I was a sociopath, and girlfriends I have told me I had no emotions and was weird. Yeah. You're not supposed to be emotional, dude. Yeah. Don't buy into that. They're probably trying to manipulate you, for sure. Hayden Rose, hey, I've been eating pasture-raised eggs from the grocery store. It's been causing some joint pain and skin blemishes. I don't know if it's detox or if there's soy in the eggs. Any thoughts? Don't know for sure. I'm still a little bit unsure about store-bought eggs, because I did eat like a bunch last week, and I didn't have any of those issues, and I'm almost sure they were fed soy, dude. I don't know if soy really manifests itself in that. It's probably just a detox, dude, especially if it happened that quickly. So I would just go with taste the egg, and then see how it feels in your stomach. If you get like a slight digestive disturbance or something like that, I wouldn't eat the eggs. But if they digest fine, I think you're okay. I haven't seen enough stuff on the soy egg thing to know exactly what I'm talking about, man. Jeremy R. Yeah, I miss it actually. I work by myself now, which is good in some ways, but when I worked at a big company as lead tech, it was good to have the team and others to help. It makes the day go by a lot quicker, man, when you have a bunch of your buddies you're working with every day. And it's a great way to make friends, dude. Like, if you don't have any friends, guys, if you go get a job working with other dudes, you will 100% make friends with them. It's like impossible not to, because you're around each other all the time. Having no emotions, psychopathic behavior equals a good thing. Right, yeah, it's all smeared. It's all like feminists trying to smear masculine behavior into one big toxic psychopathic type thing, when it's really just strength, Humans are social creatures, yes. That's why we're all here. Eat raw meat. Humans only need or want other humans for a symbiotic relationship. That's why we hate weak gamma males, because you can't get into symbiosis with them. Yeah, and they you can sense that they hate you and they'll sabotage you at any moment. Matt F. I used to worry about my job and my future goals. With this diet, no more. Same here, man. I don't worry about anything anymore. It's almost like once you get adequate food into your body and God just tells you, all right, man, now just enjoy life. You can thank me and just enjoy the rest of your life because there's nothing else to it. You know? Eat your food and thank God, man. Like, what else is there to life? What else are we supposed to do? You know? If we have any purpose in life, it's to nourish our body and thank God for the food. Like the two most basic things ever. And once you get those two things down, you stop worrying about all the other like fake society demands that are put upon you, you know? Yeah, and it's almost like when you're worrying about your job and your future goals and stuff like that, that's a manifestation of like nutrition imbalance. It's your body telling you need to eat some more food. Otherwise, your job and your future goals aren't going to work out because you're not going to be healthy. You know what I'm saying? Eat raw meat. Every good human is a good egoist searching for win-win situations, symbiotic, nothing more to it. Yeah, we're meant to just basically, we're building an army, we're building a team, we're building a tribe. You're always trying to expand your tribe, modify your tribe, enhance your tribe, strengthen your tribe. And when gamma males come around, you just see a weakness right away, especially when you're a higher status male. It's like super obvious. It's really hard for like lower status gamma males to see other gamma males. And it's almost impossible for them to see that they're gamma. Almost all gammas think they're sigmas or alphas. Animal mother, it's unnatural to be a late bloomer. I agree. Nemo, are you religious? I have a personal relationship with God, and I follow the teachings of Jesus Christ, but I'm not too into the Bible beating. Hayden Rose, thanks. They taste good. Don't have any digestive problems, so it could be detox. Algin said the yolk and the white together pull toxins out of the body, and it came from a horrible diet. Yeah, probably detox, dude. I ate store-bought eggs for a while. Never had those issues, so you're probably good. Caleb Huang, do you believe once saved, always saved? If you're truly saved, yes, definitely. I believe you can just stop sinning. Luna DC, what about women? Being emotional is inevitable or not? Yeah, I do believe that women are just inherently emotional. Not a bad thing, you know what I'm saying? It came from God for a reason. But a lot of times it's used in bad ways, obviously. Nemo, I've never met an emotionless woman. Right, yeah, it's pretty rare. Like as far as a real woman, you know what I'm saying? You know, I think Jesse Peterson did say that. So, I think he did say that women that are raised basically by a perfect father, I believe he did say that women raised by a perfect father don't come out emotional. So, I do take that back. Yeah, it's not women in general. It is women that were not raised by a strong father, for sure. But the emotions come to the woman first, through women first, and that's how it gets to men. But typically, men have to. Typically, men that are emotional are made that way by their mothers. So it's just like, it obviously comes through the women somehow. It's not coming through the men. The trail of emotional stuff is coming through the woman. But it's not just every woman. It's women that are basically not raised by strong fathers. But yeah, I believe it is very possible. And there's women out there that had very strong Christian fathers, and they come out, almost like stoic and very rational. But it's not too common, man. Eat raw meat, yes, but being over emotional is learned behavior. Yeah, it is. I think women need to be emotional and men strong minded. Yeah, over emotional is learned, absolutely. And like I said, like there is a time for men to be emotional as well. You know what I'm saying? Like someone dies in your family, whatever, mourn for 3 days and move on. But, like I said, there's a time and a place for men to be emotional. But it's pretty rare. Women give men a home. I believe the apex of masculine strengthening is found in the wild, hunting for wild, large game with men. Anything less begins our slide to degeneracy and weakness. Yeah, it sounds like a good time on a hunting expedition. How fun would it be if we could all like organize like a hunting expedition? Luna, do you see men give women a home too? Nima, do you believe you go to heaven or hell or perhaps reincarnation? I'm starting to wonder if everything just doesn't exist here. It's always here and it's always been here, and heaven and hell is on here. Like it's found on earth, but it's found internally depending on what state your spirit is in. So if you're like you're suffering or whatever, that you're probably in hell. I believe that if you I don't know, man. I'm really starting to like readopt some new ideas here. Like I'm starting to wonder if we were meant to live forever, man. You know? If we lived in like a perfect environment with no toxins, like what would mean what would make it mean that we would have to age and die? I don't know, man. I'm not too convinced, guys, that we are meant to actually die. That we were made to die, let's put it that way. Luna, do you see in winter everything dies, in spring everything resurrects? It's very interesting. Like it goes in cycles. I don't know. It's hard to say. We might be reincarnated, but I think that basically it's a test. This whole life is a test, and it's hard to say, dude. It's hard to say. I would say I wouldn't worry about all that because I don't worry about that type of stuff. I would just say if you align your life with the goals of God and you just kind of listen to what He would want, like take care of your body, be nice to other human beings, start a family, get a farm, like stuff that God would want, keep the earth clean, it's really obvious what God wants. I think if you do that your whole life, you should be fine. You shouldn't have anything to worry about. Luna DC says, intuition is both logic and a feeling to me. That's interesting. Caleb Hoying, nowadays males can be as emotional as females. I prefer to hang out with females because males acting feminine is gross, man. I know, I hate it. Animal Mother, go to LA Skid Row and you will see hell on earth. Yeah, I used to go on Google Earth and just look at LA Skid Row through satellite photos and just like, because I live in Nebraska, so it's like just, it looks like a foreign world. You rob me. Sometimes I think humans were once male and female in one body, like having no gender. Reproduction through cellular division. Huh. I've wondered about that too, how the male and female thing came about. Caleb Hoang, females have ridiculous intuition. I feel like they can smell or sense you and your energy before you walk in the room. Yeah, isn't that interesting? Right. And it can change on an instant too, depending on who walks in the room. It's very weird. Kai Sala says they're good hunting in the Midwest. I'd be most interested in wild boar, maybe deer. Yeah, lots of deer hunting, and there's some bird hunting out here too, for sure. But I wasn't unfortunately raised hunting, so I know nothing about it. So I'll probably get into homesteading, and then eventually maybe hunting after that, but I'm fine with just homesteading for now. Because all the stupid regulations on hunting are ridiculous anyways. Martin O'Donnell, I get sad seeing homeless here in Calgary. I gave one $3 2 days ago, but they suffer so much. Excellent hunting in the Midwest. Yeah, there's a lot of open space, man. There's a lot of times I'm driving down like I-80, And I see people just walking through fields. Isaiah, God shrunk our lifespan. Humans used to live up to 900s. I think I believe that, yeah. Yeah, I know. And like that, I think, I don't know, man. Is that what eternal life means? Like fasting and then getting your spirit in line with God and then just living like, is that what heaven on earth means? Man, this stuff is so confusing, but it's mind blowing. Maven Taylor, I visited India. The karma belief is bad for society because those people believe their poor conditions were fair due to past life. Huh. Yeah, karma, I don't believe in that. Eat raw meat. It makes sense to be male and female in one because both have traits and both combined make a very good team. But why'd they split? So we were once our own good team. LA Skid Row. Wonder if I could find a video of that. Oh, I don't have my search on. I'll have to do it some other time. How do you know nothing is eternal, though? Nemo. It doesn't make sense that this would all end, because like, if everything ended, then like, where did it come from, and where is it going? Like, there's no way that this entire universe in existence is not infinite, because it doesn't make sense that it would have came from nothing. It makes more sense that it had always been here. Infinity is like a really hard concept for people to understand, but it kind of makes sense to me. Martin O'Donnell, no, Adam was lonely, so he created Eve from his rib. Also, hell didn't exist at that time, but after man sinned, God created hell for those who are evil. In this illusion, everything gets boring after a while. That's why they change everything up and twist stuff. Yeah, God created Eve, for sure. Yeah, Adam and Eve is weird. This book points towards Adam and Eve being potentially the first sin of man, which is overeating. That's like the best explanation I've ever heard for Adam and Eve, man. Yeah, I'm not sure about infinity and all that stuff, but it seems like we're infinite. It's too hard for our brains to understand. Like, we're not meant to understand our creator, you know? Animal mother, maybe eternal life means you made such an impact on people during your life that your life will always be celebrated and remembered. That sounds logical. That does sort of sound logical. Or maybe your spirit is recycled. Like, if you have such a good spirit when you die from this life, then God recycles you again back into the world because you bring so much good to the world that you just keep getting cycled back in. Caleb Hangs, someone needs to be a guinea pig and eat wild boar with trichinosis raw. I know. I'm pretty sure he'd be fine too. All right, guys. I'm at 2 hours and 40 minutes. I think I'm gonna head out here and get some stuff done for the day. So this has been another interesting convo, and I'm gonna continue my fast here. So I'm 2 days fasted, feeling great, and I'm gonna continue to do this for a while. So I'll keep checking back in with you guys, and I'll probably be back tomorrow or Monday or whatever. So you guys have a good weekend, and keep eating raw meat.